right, y'all, let's go ahead and let's start up this damn reaction, shall we? So shout outs to Degenerocity, the greatness of old kid shows. Let's go ahead, let's talk about it. Let's go through the nostalgia of like the old TV shows. So without further ado, let's get into the next video, y'all. Let's do it.
Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet.
Ah, babies. Who doesn't love them? Oh, not me, but that's only because I'm grown now. Yeah, the only time when I liked babies was during the time when I was inside one. Wait. That's...
Hey, yo? We're only 17 seconds into the vid. What do you mean? Ugh.
That's not what I meant. That sounds crazy. What I meant was when I was a literal baby myself. Like, we've all been inside babies before. Wait, hold on. That's not what I meant. When you're a baby, you don't gotta worry.
Go ahead, lock him up. And officer, right there, you know? We got another Nicki Minaj. Nah, that's sick. That is sick.
About nothing. Someone's already feeding you, bathing you, strolling you around on the street, cleaning
but you don't
the doodle
remember
off your
that.
pants. You never have any responsibilities for yourself. Being a baby is the new 80. It's awesome. And since we were babies, when we weren't sleeping or swallowing the nearest lethal object, we were playing with toys or watching the preschool shows our parents put on the TV. You know, they changed it to the children's channels, PBS, TBS, CBS, putting on the shows for us toddlers. Well, my parents didn't really do that. I would just watch whatever my siblings were watching, which was Cartoon Network and Disney Channel 99% of the time, and whatever my dad was watching. And he was not watching the most baby-friendly stuff. Like literally, both me and my dad would fall asleep watching Friday the 13th or something on Showtime. Then at 4 a.m., I'd wake up to Showtime playing straight up corn on the channel. Not even a scene, like it's just a straight up corn movie. And I just stared at it. My balls were still in my stomach, so I ain't feel nothing. But when watching it, I felt like a industry baby, if you catch my drift. In short, I ain't watched that many kid shows. But when I did, I was watching what every other baby was watching. While babies nowadays are looking at their Coco Melon, we Gen Ziggers was watching classics. Classics in the making. The children's programming from back in the day of our babyhoods.
I was not allowed to watch Teletubbies, man. I just was not allowed to watch this. Let me fix, like, you know, this while I have it on my head. I just did my hair today, so you're gonna have to bear with me. But yeah, I was not allowed to watch Teletubbies. Like that whole, it's still to this day, I couldn't even tell you the names of all the Teletubbies. I just wasn't allowed to watch it, you know? It was something about that level of just like, oh yeah, this shit is not meant for kids. That my folks is like, yeah, hell no. You ain't watching no damn no. It's not being advocated in this house. No. So yeah. You know, somebody in the comments could be like, all right, what do you mean you can't name, so you don't know all the names of the Teletubbies? I really don't, bro.
We're some of the greatest, educating us kids on valuable lessons. Like
Dragon Tales I'd watch, yeah.
Or don't be an ass. And I wanted to use the Wayback Machine and reminisce on the very simple times of watching baby shows. Talk on how some of them were great and how some of them were the back door to my nightmares. But I'm gonna save that for the end. I'm gonna start this off with a channel that we're all familiar with, Disney Junior. Now, I'm not gonna show that much footage because Disney sucks, but I remember when this channel became a thing. Like, I was like around 8 years old enough to realize the meaning of my existence, but not old enough to have common sense, so I still needed this educational channels. But honestly, thinking about it right now, I don't think I ever watched a show to be educated before. I for real watched a lot of kids' education shows back then, and I don't think I've learned a single thing from any of them. They were teaching us stuff that we already learned at school. Why the hell I need to repeat it at me? That's why back then I barely watched kids shows that would ask you a question and wait 20 years for...
See, I didn't watch this. I've seen a parody of that one song from the Migos, but I couldn't tell you what the name of the show is.
Back then, I barely watched kid shows that would ask you a question and wait 20 years for you to answer. It ruins my immersion of the show. I get less and less attached to the show when they hit me with fourth wall breaks. You ain't supposed to
y'all
go
know
here.
more
Like,
than
who
me.
you talking to? And after waiting 80 years of them just staring at you, waiting for you to answer,
I'm not gonna lie.
who you talking to? And after waiting 80 years of them just...
I'm not gonna lie with you. I got sick and tired of Dora's shit, bro. I got tired of Dora's shit so fast, bro. Can you find where the map is? Where? And then you're screaming at the top of your lungs. It's like, it's right there. Look. That shit used to piss me off. I used to get mad as hell. Be like, get this dumbass bitch off on my screen, bro. I used to get so mad. I'm like, yeah, nah, get her off.
staring at you, waiting for you to answer.
This why Diego was better.
They just assume your answer anyway. So why'd you ask me in the first place? Wasting my time. I had goals as a kid. I had stuff to do. And this show is just wasting my time.
And this show was fire, I will
Anyway,
say.
I forgot Disney Junior. There were a few shows I used to always watch. I remember watching Big Bear and the Big Blue House sometimes. Honestly, this show kind of scared me as a kid.
Sometimes I watched it. I didn't watch it all the time.
It reminded me of that molester moon emoji. And that's the most I remember from the show. And I sadly wasn't a Wiggles guy either. But I heard a bunch of songs from them. And not gonna lie, they're
I'm not gonna lie, the songs from the Wiggles used to hit, bro. They used to hit. I wasn't too big with the Wiggles until I heard the soundtrack, and I'm like, oh yeah, nah, like, now I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it. The Wiggles got me. They got me.
pretty great. I've heard a bunch of songs from them, and after hearing them, I can tell you that this is one of the greatest bands of this generation, of any generation. Every song from them makes you hype and go crazy. They're basically the Beatles if they were good. There was also Special Agent Oso, and really the only reason I attempted to watch the show was because Mr. Mosby was playing the wolf on the show, fulfilling my fantasies I had about him. But none of those shows were the main shows. The big three of my Disney Junior experience was Handy Manny, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and Little Einsteins. Not Doc Stuffins. She ain't no real doctor. She can't get me my BBL or.
Hey, listen, not too much, not too much, not too much, not too much. Because I was watching it for a period of time. Don't do that.
Einsteins, not Doc.
I was watching her. Don't do that. Who is this pervert YouTuber?
Stuffins. She ain't no real doctor. She can't get me my BBL or Sophia the First. That show's for Atlanta niggas. We all know the deal with Handy
I never heard of this. Sophia.
Manny, you know, Mexican dude with talking tools that can fix anything, from a boat to a chair, to your accident, you name it, we fix it. The characters were fun too, you know, there was this guy who was a complete loser. He had no hairline, he lived with his cat, he was always the butt of the joke, never had any bitches, easily the most relatable character on the show. I also remember them adding this new character. It was a flashlight. He only spoke Minion. I don't remember what language he spoke, but they was adorable. Every time they were on screen, they was just like cute like a minion. Then the main man, Manny himself, just being a helpful, handsome guy. He had a girlfriend, at least I think that was his girlfriend. He always had everybody on his back. He was such a Chad. He was such a handsome man. He's just a dandy guy. I like him. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, an automatic classic for the
Hey, gang. I don't know what's going on with you, gang. On this live stream, we're reacting. Reacting to the greatness of old kid shows.
Putting in ending songs alone. You know that song's M-I-C-K-E-Y, M-O-U-S-C. Oh man, makes my balls hot. Especially that hot dog, hot diggity dog. Look at Goofy go. Do I need to say more? The only thing I remember this show messing up on was when they gave Toodles a face and a personality. Now he can talk and he can like communicate with us. I don't want this, man. He don't need to speak, bro. It's weird. Like, look at him. He look creepy. Like, if he could speak the whole time, then why didn't he say anything before? He's plotting something, I know it! And then there was Little Einsteins. I just loved it because I'm a bit of a musician myself, you know. I can play piano, trumpet, the recorder, the triforce of instruments. And since I'm a musical genius, of course this show would appeal to someone like me. And honestly, I don't remember what they did on this show. Like, they had a ship, there were talking instruments, Dang, I think that's all I remember. I just remember loving it as a kid. And that theme song, you know, that old meme.
Hey, we're going.
They just don't make them
This
like that no
nigga.
more. But Disney Jr. was a great entertainment and education source for children.
You know,
Them like that no more. But Disney Jr. was a great.
if I gotta be the person to go ahead and start this commentary, we need to talk about the fictional characters in cartoons that should honestly have been arrested. And Johnny Bravo, you're not exempt, gang. You're top on the list. I can think of a few like Pepe Le Pew, Johnny Bravo, the Canker Sisters, Helga from Hey Arnold. I can name a few cartoons where I'm just like, hey, listen, they was putting a lot of adult context in these kid shows, and it was breezing right past us. And matter of fact, I'll make that first episode talk about Helga's horny ass. Like, boy, he said Helga was a strange kid. Boy, there was a point in time where it is that she was just like, oh, Arnold, you make my girlhood tremble. Bitch, you're 9 years old. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? How did that get greenlit into the show? And then I had to look back and she actually said that. That was on air. How? How did boy? Then we need to arrest Jessica Rabbit. Yeah, that may be a controversial one, but I agree with you. I don't think it's controversial. I think it is wholeheartedly. She wanted to wear Arnold's skin in one episode. Bro, she had a whole shrine of this nigga in her closet. A lock of hair. She had the damn football hat at one point. She made that shit out of fruit and some fucking bubble gum and shit like that. I promise you. Look that up. Helga from Hey Arnold shrine. She really made that. Like, that girl was Delulu, and we was watching it. It's like, shoo, like as if like nothing happened.
Entertainment and education source for
You
children.
leave Jessica Rabbit alone.
Especially me. But it wasn't my favorite. Moving on to a channel that I liked more as a kid, in terms of baby shows, Nick Jr. Nick Jr. I have a lot more memories of as a kid, even though they had some dookie butt shows like Dora and the more boring Diego. But everything else was pretty good. Wonder.
I mean, Diego was cool. I like Diego way more than Dora. But Wonder Pets, I love Wonder Pets, bro. Tommy's grandpa needs to be Yeah.
Wonder Pets was pretty lit, although that turtle can go chug a bottle of piss. I still hate turtles. The Backyardigans, everybody loved this show. And the animals, Tanisha, Pablo.
Oh yeah, and RIP to the creator of the show as well, man. RIP. I think that she just recently passed.
Bart, Jesse, and James. I don't remember their names, but it was such a fun show. You know, the backyard was always transforming and getting new settings like every single episode. I loved it. My favorite episodes were the jungle episode and the western episode. Max and Ruby. Now,
I've talked about this before, but Ruby was a straight bitch to her brother, bro. She was very selfish, bro. I couldn't stand. At times, I see why it is. Max would just give her a look and would not say anything. But there is a theory that people were saying it is that Max may be autistic, and that's why it is that he never really spoke, so he would just use other gestures. But I'm just like, you kind of fucked up, gang. Ruby was a hater. She was terrible to her brother.
mixed feelings on this. I used to watch this show a lot.
Like, I enjoyed the show as a kid, but I didn't really like Max all that much when I was young. I didn't really know any better back then. I just saw him making mud cakes and I was just like, that's gross, there's worms in it, bro. Why are you making that? It wasn't until I got older that I realized that Max was just having fun, man. He was just a young kid just having fun, playing with his toys, making cakes. He was just doing his thing. The real villain of this show
is Ruby.
It was Ruby.
Yes.
I'm not gonna get too in detail because then I'll just be stealing this guy's content. Shout out to him. But let me say this.
If I was in a room with a bow and arrow with only 2 arrows and there was me, Ruby, no, I don't even care who else is there. I'm gonna shoot Ruby twice. Blue's Clues was pretty cool too. You know, I like the cat. I like the box characters. My man Steve was drawing like Picasso with just a crayon. The show was nuts until Steve left to buy some cigarettes. What does the new Steve look like again?
Who the fuck is this?
Peppa Pig. I didn't really watch it because it was British and
I was more of a Olivia kind of guy.
Nah, that's sick. That's
this
sick.
Peppa Pig. I didn't really watch it because it was British and
Nah, that level of it was British is crazy.
I was more of a Olivia kind of guy.
But I'll admit it, the Peppa Pig album is pretty fire. Like, unironically, it's better than Honestly Trash. And I ain't gonna forget the GOAT. Yo, Gabba Gabba! I didn't really watch it that much. But my brothers loved it, and the characters look nice. Biz Marquis is in like every episode.
Oh, RIP to him too.
DJ Lance is so into his character in the show that he's still in his character over 10 years after the show ended. So that's dedication right there. But yeah, I ain't really watched this show as a kid. The most I got from it was that one episode from South Park where Fufa became a thought. That's the most I ever got from it. And my personal favorite, Nick Jr.
Y'all not shit for doing that to Fufa, bro. Y'all made her a thought, Jesus.
show was Little Bill. Now, ignoring the controversies, this show taught me so many things, like how to talk to girls, how to ask a girl out, and the secret to getting any girl. And thanks to this show, I can say these tips changed my life for the better. Because of these tips, every time I move into a new home, I have to introduce myself to my female neighbors. And under state law, I basically have to tell them how good I am with the ladies. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm the Riz God, all cause of Little Bill. All right, moving on from that, I want to talk about my actual favorite shows from back when I was a kindergartner. And back then, I was a huge fan of Thomas the Tank Engine. I love this show so much.
My brother used to love this show.
Something about him. I was addicted to this show. Like, actually, I owned DVDs, had so many train sets and toys. I even wore Thomas the Tank Engine undies. I was wearing this man on my balls. You cannot tell me I'm a fake fan. You can't call me gay either. He's a train. Let him run a train on me. I really do love Thomas the Tank Engine.
I'm literally questioning this man with every sus thing it is that he says at this rate, bro. He is PK firing a sus comment. At this rate, you're worse than Mikey. I would expect Mikey to say something like this to this degree, but god damn. Damn.
I consider it a very big part of my babyhood. I think the reason I like this show so much was cause that it was a very chill show. Nothing would happen in your face. The conflicts would always be in the island of Sodor with the trains doing the task that Sir Toppin Hat would tell them to do. And then a small hiccup happens and then they solve it, learning a lesson maybe in the process. Simple. It was a very simple, chill show and I like trains. The interactions were always very sweet and when they weren't, you know when shit was going down. But they would always make amends at the end. This was a show just trying to tell a simple story each episode. It's not like those other baby shows that would constantly break the fourth wall and just start singing out of nowhere or asking you, do you know what 5 plus 5 is? My favorite color, green. Like, bro, go lick my nut and gargle it, bro. I hate shows like that.
Damn.
Sometimes us kids just want to be entertained like the grown-ups. We don't want to get constantly talked down to in shows. We already get enough of that in real life. Why would we want that in our entertainment? And Thomas did have learning segments where they would ask us kids questions, but it would be in between episodes. Not the actual episode would have it. It would never get in the way of the actual plot of the episode. This is why I kind of liked Arthur as a kid too. Cause it ain't interrupt you in the middle of the episode with random questions. We was just enjoying ourselves, learning not to swear, and definitely not wanting to learn how to knit.
No, I'm not a knitter.
Arthur was great. I still don't understand that racism episode though. I thought it was just animals in this universe, but black people exist too apparently, and get unfair treatment from the police. But there was no other races that were mentioned, so is it the animals that are the ones being racist? Is it just black people and animals in this universe? What does an interracial baby look like? Okay, I'm gonna stop asking questions. Back to Thomas. I also love how this show only has a narrator. Narrating and doing every voice in the show. I loved it. It made the show feel more common and soothing. I even remember when Alec Baldwin was the narrator for season 5. He was great too. You just had to wear a bulletproof vest every time you watched the show. Not to mention,
I had to really think back into that episode because now that confused me because I was just like, at the time I was like, so is Arthur black? Yeah. So is it like I was so confused. I'm like, huh? I mean, I give him an E for effort for trying to put in a realism that happens within real life within to a show, but it's just like I don't know about that.
The music. It's out of this world. It has no reason to being that great. And it wasn't just a few good ones here and there, you know, a few good bops. No. Every single one. I'm serious too. Every song sounds like it could be one of those classic Disney songs from back in the day. They just are so catchy and so good to sing along to. And accidents will happen. One of the greatest songs of all time, top 100, not even fibbing. Listen to it yourself. It's like in 1984 when the show was created. The music team for this show was like, yo, let's only drop classics for the next 20 years. Like we're Kanye West or something. And the whole team responded, who the hell is Kanye West? But they did it anyway. These guys deserve all the Grammys. And that iconic intro, nobody has forgotten that. This is genuinely one of the greatest kid shows of all time. The amount of nostalgia and pure bliss and joy I get from this show, oh man, it cannot be matched. This show is amazing. It is fantastic. Or should I say, was. Because as soon as they went CGI, it was downhill.
Yeah, they did.
Only downhill. I was appalled when they switched the style. This happened back in 2009 when I was 6 turning 7. And even back then I hated it. I was all like, why are their mouths moving now? Why are the people moving? Why do they have their own voices? It changed so much. I avoided this new version every time I saw it on TV. I missed it when they were actual toys and it was in reality. This is just weird. It's unnatural seeing them like this. I always hated when kids shows would switch their style just to look more modern. Just look at Bob the Builder. For years he was looking good. He was looking nice because he was in stop motion. Look at Bob go. Woo! Okay, let's see what Bob the Builder looks like now.
Boots check, tool belt check, hard hat check. Bob the Builder.
Oh.
Who the hell is that? That is definitely not Bob. That dude's name is Bertram. That is not Bob.
Nah,
that is not the same man that I knew from my childhood. This is not my Bob. They doing the same thing with Thomas. It's horrifying. And that ain't even the worst of it. You know the music? How I said it was one of the best songs of all time. You know, it should win all the BET Hip Hop Awards. It's so ass now. Oh my goodness. They changed the whole vibes of the songs, bro. It sounds so terrible, man. It used to be a choir of kids singing, and now it's just... Listen to this.
A special day with all your friends. Seems like it will never end.
This is trash. Who
Yeah,
thought
that's
of this
just not
now?
good, bro.
And the new intro is even worse, man.
I have high hopes for X-Men 97. I really do. I really do. I hope it is that they keep everything that they need to, because X-Men, when they've done animated shows, has usually always been a hit. It's just the movies that's kind of been hit or miss. But I hope it is that they do right by this. I really do. Because I'd be crushed. It's bad enough Marvel's already fucking up on like so many different movies and series and stuff like that. Just let me have this one, bro. Y'all had like on What If. Y'all did good with that one. Don't fuck this one up.
Man, let's try to listen.
Let's go, go, go on a big world adventure.
This is not Thomas sounding music. This shit sound like Paw Patrol, bro. I can't believe they massacred Tony like this, bro. This is not the reason why I wore you on my balls, man. This is not the show I used to love and enjoy. Stop trying to appease to these kids and appease to me, a grown-ass man. Appeal to me. They ruined it, man. They ruined it. They really turned Thomas the Tank Engine into that freaking bootleg rip-off Thomas the Tank Engine Chuggington. This is honestly one of the worst things that ever happened in humanity. And since I'm over here whining about this children's show, let me talk about one final show real quick. A show that I only remember watching once in my childhood, but that one time alone left a scar that still remains to this day.
Okay.
I was in elementary school, staying up a little late one night, and on a TV, it was on Nick Jr., 24/7 baby content playing all the time. And at around midnight, this new show came on. It was called Ubi. This show was a hand puppet show, but unlike Sesame Street or any other hand puppet show, it was just hands.
This show gave me so. Alright, I'm gonna cut the bullshit. The show ain't even that scary. I don't even know why I found this show scary as a kid. It's just hand puppets. Maybe it's their creepy eyes, I don't know. But I'm not gonna try to hype it up to be like scary. I'm gonna sound like one of those like SpongeBob Theory channels or whatever. It's also because this show made me raise a lot of questions.
I never even heard of this show.
How do they eat? How do they swallow their food? Where does it go? How do they use the bathroom? Do they have holes? How do they fight? How are their eyes attached to their hands? How do they put on rings? When they high-five each other, did they just kiss? Did they just have intercourse on screen? How do they even do it in this universe? And if they do it, do they wear gloves for protection? So, how do they wear the gloves? Wouldn't that just cover their eyes? Where do their bodies end? There's actual people in this universe.
Listen, Goosebumps, and then also there was another one that was on Nick. That was Are You Afraid of the Dark? For all my people it is that is millennial kids, you know what's up when it Are You Afraid of the Dark, because that shit actually was type scary. It was type scary. And Goosebumps was another one. So, you know, shout out. We had the best shows, I'm sorry.
What do they see below their hands? How do they drive cars in this universe? What is pushing the gas pedal? How does anything get done in this universe? I didn't like how many questions this show had me asking. That one time I watched this show was a life-changing and threatening experience for me.
We had
as a
excellent
child.
shows,
and
bro.
I hope no kid had to experience the nightmares I did because of this show.
Wild.
Nah, Drew, that's crazy.
I've grown a lot since I was a jit. I'm never saying that again.
Okay,
I've
I was
grown
just
in
about to
hair,
check that too.
length, size, but most importantly, I've grown in mind. And I don't think I would be the person I am today if it weren't for these children's shows.
I just got flashed.
Well, mostly only Thomas and Little Bill, but the rest were here too. If I forgot to mention a show, I just didn't watch it as a kid. That's just the way it turned out for me. I love reminiscing about old times and old childhood memories. It makes me feel less old. And since we're towards the end of the video,
never seen that
I did not
meme.
expect this video to be as long as it is. But that just shows how dedicated I am to this topic. And in conclusion, free Bill Cosby! It starts with
One thing.
See, you had me until it is that you said that, bro. But all right, y'all. So listen. Degenerocity, shout outs to you. Questionable things it is that you said within this video, but that's fine. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to everybody in the chat. And shout outs to you at home. I will catch y'all in the next video.